Coventry High School has had so far. Biggest one. So listen up, because I can't talk loudly. Are you ready? Okay, in about 5 minutes, maybe less, Mr. Hobin is going to come rushing back here because he thinks there's an emergency in the gym. So he is going to come back with his heart pounding. And the big surprise that we're going to tell him is, of course, that he has gotten Rhode Island's Principal of the Year. Okay, save that for him. Save that for him. So I'm going to need your best cooperation. He's here? Okay, he's coming.
Where's he going to be? I don't know.
Now that we've taken care of that, the first thing I'd like to have Kate Steinhauer, please. Kate is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone would please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Zoe Migalopoulos will lead us in the anthem. Mr. Hobin's family, his wife, his son Nick, his dad, mom, his mother-in-law, his sister, and his sister-in-law. I'd like to welcome them and congratulate them. Now I'd like to turn the microphone over to our superintendent, Dr. Michael Almeida, who will begin the program.
Good morning, faculty, students, staff, administration, Coventry High School. I am now have the honor of introducing Mrs. Patricia Hines to make a formal announcement of why we're here today. Mrs. Hines.
Thank you. Good morning, and this is a thrill for me to be back in a gymnasium with a full school. I did all of my teaching in a high school, and I was principal of a high school for a number of years, and it's a thrill to be here and to see all of you today, and to see your really bright and shining faces. They've all been in smiles, Mr. Hobin, since I walked in. So they knew the secret long before you. I'm the executive director of the Rhode Island Association of School Principals, and each year we run a recognition program to select a high school principal to recognize for excellence in leadership, excellence in leading teaching and learning. And it is indeed our honor. A selection committee went through the applications and read through them all and selected 2 finalists. Mr. Hobin was one of those. And then the committee and I came to Coventry High School one day, and we met with some of you students, we met with some of your teachers, we met with your parents and community members, and we met with Dr. Almeida and other administrators from the district. And then that selection committee had the task of determining which of the 2 finalists would be High School Principal of the Year. And they made their recommendation to the RIASP Executive Board, which also unanimously, the selection committee unanimously chose Mr. Hobin, and the RIASP Executive Board unanimously approved that. So let's all give him a round of applause. And now, if you'll indulge me for a few minutes, I would like to read the press release that is going out across the state today. But I would like to read the press release because what it includes are things that each of those groups shared with us on our site visit, things that students told us, teachers, faculty and staff, and community members, as well as other administrators. Writing his Friday Focus memo to his faculty each week, for his faculty's professional growth, Principal Michael Hobin highlights excerpts from his own reading of current educational best practices. He also recognizes 1 or more teachers who have made an exceptional difference in student learning that week. This positive acknowledgement and professional leadership have served to build strong relationships within this very large high school. So too, Mr. Hobin works consistently to provide opportunities for faculty and staff to become leaders within the school by encouraging everyone to gain as much professional development training as possible, and by permitting risk-taking. Mr. Hobin has promoted an environment of collegiality, professional networking, innovation, and collaboration. Principal Hobin's leadership team consists not only of other administrators and department chairs, but also includes union representatives and support personnel. The school improvement team membership includes faculty, staff, students, parents, and community members. Thus, the entire Coventry High School community is actively engaged in promoting improvements in teaching and learning at the school. Under Mr. Hobin's skillful leadership, the school has adopted common assessments, fully calibrated and aligned to learner expectations. The result has been a culture of accountability for teachers and fairness and equity for students. So too, Mr. Hobin has demonstrated excellent leadership in regards to personalizing the school environment, making sure that all students are aware of graduation requirements and differentiating support for students as needed to ensure their success. Students, parents, and faculty note that Mr. Hobin personally places each graduate's capstone portfolio completion star, you know, the stars that are out on that bulletin board, he personally places them in students' graduation program booklets. Students and parents laud Mr. Hobin as a fully digital principal. Not only does he communicate regularly via listserv and individual emails, but he also tweets daily about the full spectrum of learning experiences at Coventry High School. Whether he's tweeting a photo of a classroom or a science or language lab, there he goes. I was hoping he'd do it during this, as a matter of fact, because we need to get these out to our membership, Mr. Hobin, so please tweet. We know that he tweets the schedule of sporting events for the day. He recognizes outstanding achievement of a particular student, a class, a team, or a faculty member. Mr. Hobin keeps the Coventry High School community completely up to date on school news. Mr. Hobin also has held ochre chats. And let me tell you, that set you apart, Mr. Hobin. Ochre chats on Twitter, in which he has dedicated an hour of his time in the evening to hear students' feedback and suggestions on the school. And that's in the press release, boys and girls, because that is where we need to go in education today. We need to embrace the digital society in which we live, and to have a principal leading the way by tweeting with his students, with his parents, with his community and his faculty is truly worthy of recognition.
Yeah, Mr. Hobin!
Students and parents also go out of their way to praise Mr. Hobin for the personal notes he sends them. So he's not just digital, he uses some of the old-fashioned approaches as well. Though he leads a school of over 1,600 students, Mr. Hobin regularly makes the time to send handwritten postcards of thanks or congratulations to parents and students. These cherished missives provide evidence of his efforts to personalize the high school experience. Teachers also sing Mr. Hobin's praises. As one teacher stated, Mike Hobin is an inspirational principal, mentoring and motivating over 200 faculty and staff members. He has shaped our efforts to align curriculum to Common Core standards, to improve NECAP scores, to meet response to intervention requirements, and to address the rigorous demands of the new educator evaluation system. Other teachers describe Mr. Hobin as visible, confident, dedicated, personable, and proactive. Additional descriptors include committed, organized, supportive, caring, and compassionate. While one teacher shared that Mr. Hobin's commitment to Coventry High School has led every person in the building to be more committed, another asserted that Mr. Hobin is the hardest worker in the building, and he sets a strong example for both students and faculty. Another Coventry High School administrator said, "It is not often you find someone who makes you want to dig deeper, work harder, and learn more. Mr. Hobin truly inspires leadership." In addition to echoing others' descriptions of Mr. Hobin, other administrators in the district note that they respect his ability to share ideas. They note that he has created protocols for his own faculty and staff, which have become exemplars throughout the district. They commend his book talks with his faculty and highlight his skill in developing others as leaders. They share that he asks good questions and always makes time to participate in district-wide discussions. Superintendent Almeida states that Mr. Hobin's communications with parents and students is exceptional. He is passionate about learning, focuses on student achievement, and values relationships. Dr. Almeida goes on to note that the central office and school-based administrators value Mr. Hobin's professional advice and abilities. They consider Mr. Hobin the unofficial lead principal of Coventry Public Schools. On May 29th, Rhode Island, the Rhode Island Association of School Principals will hold a banquet to recognize each of our principals of the year. We have them at the middle school level and the elementary level as well. And Mr. Hobin and his family and as many of his faculty and staff who would like to attend are all invited to do so. But perhaps more importantly for Mr. Hobin, in either late September or early October, I don't have the date yet, he will be invited to Washington, D.C., where he will be honored by the National Association of Secondary School Principals with the winners from each of the 50 states. So Mr. Hobin, congratulations.
Thank you, Pat Hines. And at this time, I'd like to call up a couple of students to share a few sentiments. Scott Francis and Alaa.
On behalf of the student body, we would like to congratulate Mr. Hobin on receiving the well-deserved honor of being named Rhode Island Principal of the Year. Mr. Hobin clearly exemplifies the aspects of being an Oker by being open-minded, accepting, kind, encouraging, and respectful. Mr. Hobin reminds his students every day that kindness is free and has greatly impacted the student body as a whole. Whether it was through the numerous Oker chats or the constant checks of progress, Mr. Hobin makes himself available to his students and shows genuine care and support.
Mr. Hobin takes time out of his busy schedule to connect with the students and is always open for change and improvement. Mr. Hobin is truly dedicated to ensuring the success of each one of his students. He goes out of his way and will do anything he can do to help. Failure has never been a word in Mr. Hobin's vocabulary. He goes above and beyond the qualities of being a great principal. Thank you, Mr. Hobin, for everything you have done to better Coventry High School.
Thank you, Scott and Alaa. And at this time, I'd like to call up Derek Huffman.
Yeah, Tyson! Tyson!
I gotta say, I'm glad, but I'm not surprised that Mr. Hobin got Principal of the Year. And I'll tell you why. Mr. Hobin has done great things, not only for myself, but for my family, and for all of us here at Coventry High School. I want to share a personal story. My older brother, Matt Huffman, attended this school a number of years ago. And during his junior year, before completing his capstone, he suffered a traumatic brain injury, bringing his graduation to a halt. He was racing motocross and he got in an accident. For those of you who don't know what motocross is, it's a highly injury-prone extreme sport involving a motorcycle and or a dirt bike. The accident put my brother in a coma for nearly a month. The doctors predicted he had about a 5% chance of surviving. My brother overcame those odds. He woke from the coma. He got rehabilitated. He relearned speech, how to walk, and how to eat on his own. A tremendous recovery. Years later, he decided to take it in his own hands to come back to Coventry High School and to complete his capstone. And with the help of Mr. Hobin, he graduated. And his thank you. And his graduation was held in Warwick. And guess who was in attendance? Mr. Hobin. Towards the end of the ceremony, Mr. Hobin went up and spoke a few words for my brother's success. And he actually got emotional. He began crying. Tears of joy for my brother's success. And that moment right there is when I knew that Mr. Hobin truly cares about our education, our graduation, and our success here at Coventry High School. For that, I thank him. Give a hand for Mr. Hobin.
That was great. Thank you, Derek. And at this time, I'd like to call up Dominic Betez and Brandon Parenzo.
Mr. Hobin made me happy. He's a friend of mine and I love him. I love him. He's a principal of the year. He's my friend. I see the tear of his eyes and he's a friend of mine. He put me on this wall because I'm special. He did that because he wanted me to graduate. Because Mr. Hobin is my favorite daily friend. Let's give Mr. Hobin a proud.
Thank you, Dominic. And at this time, I'd like to call Mr. Lucian up to say a few words on behalf of the administration and faculty.
Good morning, everybody. It's ironic that I get to speak because if anybody knows me, they know that I talk a lot and I speak a different language that they call Lucianese because I speak very fast. However, when Ms. Hines came to speak with us and ask us why Mr. Hobin should be Principal of the Year, the very last question she asked was, use one word that describes him. I thought for a minute, and I used the word inspirational. And I did that for two reasons. The very first one, in order to be inspirational, you have to be inspired by something. And he's inspired not only by education, but he's inspired by the staff and by the students on a daily basis because he believes in education and he believes in all of you. The second reason why I use the word inspirational is because you have to be inspirational in order to do your best every day. And he does that by helping everybody on a daily basis. There are lines outside his office constantly. There are constantly students asking for his help. And he does this because not only does he want teachers to become better teachers and students to become better students, but he does that because he believes in people and because he wants the best for us all. On behalf of the students, staff, and our admin team, congratulations, you're Principal of the Year every year.
Over back to Dr. Almeida.
Mr. Hobin, we have one last guest to introduce today. So say a couple words on your behalf before we hand the mic over. This person is a friend to many of us. You're a mentor to him, a colleague, but most of all, you're a friend. At this time, Mr. Lonnie Morris.
Wow. I can't believe you spoke so well, Derek. That was very impressive. You know, well done. I'm not going to be long. I just wouldn't miss this for the world. He's been so much to all of us. We called him friend, we call him mentor, but now we all call him Rhode Island Principal of the Year. So I'm not going to be long. Come on up and say a few words for all of us. I miss you dearly, and I miss everyone. So it's
I am now convinced that you will do anything to get out of class. It is not often when I am speechless. As you know, I'm told that I'm known for swallowing the mic on the morning announcements. I'm told that's kind of out there in Twitter land. I make sure that I don't follow those chats. But I'm truly humbled and honored. I try to keep my message simple when I meet with kids, and
someone gave me advice very long ago to really find something that you love to do and get someone to pay you to do it. And from a very early age, I knew I wanted to work in schools. I thought it was a great place to be. It was positive energy. Teachers seemed like they had a great job. They loved what they did. So from a very early age, I knew this was the environment that I wanted to be in. I didn't realize that my career path would take me into the direction of administration, but I kept seeing for years and years here the turnover and the transition from principal to principal to principal. I've been here a long time, and I've seen the best and I've seen the worst at Coventry High, and I think what inspires me is that I feel like we're on the way up. We continue to improve practices. We continue to improve our instruction. Our kids seem to be responding more and more. God, I wish I had a glass of water. We seem to be, imagine Hope and speechless. We seem to be on the upswing with so many things. And, you know, throughout I've been an administrator here for 11 years. And I've had opportunities to go to different places. And every time I think, is this the right move for me? Is this the right opportunity for me? People bring me right back. Thank you. Thanks so much. Has this been opened? Much better. People bring me right back to here. And I do spend a lot of time here, and I do spend long days, and I could never do that without my family. It really is a commitment from everyone. This is too important of a job. Teaching is too important of an occupation. Learning is too important for your future to take it anything but with the utmost seriousness. So it is something that I do feel very, very strongly about, and I appreciate so much. You will never know how much I appreciate the support that I get here. It is truly a blessing to work in the greatest school in America. Thank you so much.